aircraft used for Nigeria Air was a chartered flight from Ethiopian Airlines MD. So now let's get to the stories attached to these headlines. Interesting headlines, I should say. But let's start with the former governor.
That's the mistake they're making. Labour can't speak for me. Labour can't speak for those who are not working. Labour only speaks for their civil servants, for their members. With all due respect, there are a lot of people who are suffering, who don't have work. So why can't this money be used to provide employment? Why can't this money be used to do other things?
All right, so the former governor says he's not afraid of the EFCC. Should he be? That's the first question on my mind. Secondly, I don't know. There is the judgment that says that EFCC cannot investigate, any member of the River State government. I'm wondering, even past government officials. I'm wondering. But then again, that one is also on my mind. But moving on to the next story. Why South should produce next Senate president by Wike, the former governor, is in the news again. And you can find this story on the Guardian newspaper. Why South should produce next Senate president by Governor Wike, or former Governor Wike, I beg your pardon. Former River State Governor Nyesom Wike has accused those opposed to zoning of the Senate presidency to the South region of deliberately laying a stumbling block for President Bola Tinubu in the National Assembly. He submitted that anybody who loves, believes in the unity of the country and wants Tinubu to succeed would not hesitate to ensure that the next Senate president comes from the oil-rich region, as already determined by the president and the ruling All Progressives Congress leadership. Wike, during a media chat yesterday in Port Harcourt, stated there is something going on in the country now about the Senate presidency and the House leadership, and everybody knows my position. My position is that the Senate presidency should come to the South. We are not talking about the presidency of the country now. We are done with that. If you agree that Senate presidency should go to the South, tell me the truth. Where should it go? It can be the Southwest. It can't be the Southeast. South has only produced one Senate president, Joseph Wayas, far back in 1979. Southeast has produced over 7. He stressed that those who were averse to Tinubu's presidential ambition are still hell-bent on laying stumbling block for him at the National Assembly through their opposition to his preferred choice of former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswill Akpabio, as the next Senate president. Now, I've got 3 questions on my mind, maybe more. And the first one is, should the president be involved in who becomes what in the National Assembly? Now, that's the first question in my mind, because I am back to secondary school. And in secondary school, when we were in government class at the time, they told us that we've got 3 arms of government. The judiciary, the legislative, and then the executive. And there is what they call separation of powers. Yes, one can checkmate the other, but one cannot control the other. So I'm wondering, should the president be involved in who becomes what in the National Assembly? Because now we, as also documented in this report, we're now hearing that there is the APC preferred candidates for the various positions in the 10th National Assembly. And of course, the APC preferred candidates are how do I put it now? Are people who have been anointed by the president. So now the question is, should the president be involved in who becomes a part of the leadership of the 10th National Assembly? Secondly, does this really show, because some of you yesterday, you were saying, the former governor, he said one thing and he has done another. But does he really show you that is a man who is dedicated and determined to fight for, or to fighting for, the South region, or better still, the southern region? Do you think, that's what the former governor is all about? Because remember when we talked about the second visit to the president, a lot of you made certain allegations and, certain conspiracy theories. But look at it now. The former governor is fighting for the position to come to the South. That's the Senate presidency. But then again, if it should come to the South-South, let's agree it should come to the South-South, should it be Godswill Akpabio? So I told you I've got 3 questions concerning this very headline, and those are my 3 questions. I hope you've got the answers to that. But let's move on to the next one. Army raid illegal oil refining sites in Emohua, River State. Yeah, so we brought you that news as well. It was in our 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock bulletin. Troops of Operation Delta Safe stormed Iba community in Emohua local government area of River State and destroyed illegal oil refining sites. The commander of Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira, said the operation is in line with its mandate to protect oil facilities in the Niger Delta. Rear Admiral Ferreira says Operation Delta Safe is committed in the fight against crime and criminality in its areas of operation. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Operation Delta Safe is meant to deter the activities of criminal elements who set up illegal refining sites. Like we just saw, one of them was destroyed here at Iba. So our mandate is to go after these criminals and destroy these illegal refining sites in pursuance of the mandate of OPDS. So like we've always sent out warning messages to these criminals, OPDS will not relent in its efforts in carrying out its mandate. We'll go after them no matter where they go. We're up to the task.
So the Operation Delta Safe commander also warned youths in the Niger Delta region to desist from pipeline vandalism and other criminal activities. So the question, I have just one question. Why always Emohua? And I'm not trying to, demarket, yeah? I'm not trying to demarket the region, but I'm trying to have a conversation to help the people in that region take up responsibility, wake up and smell the coffee, that these reports coming out from that region is not in their best interest. It's not in their best interest. So if, for instance, a person wants to come into River State and invest, an investor wants to come into River State, do you think it would want to go to Emohua with all the reports coming out from that local government area? I don't have much to talk about the illegal oil refining sites, but I just want to ask that one question. Maybe you can go ahead, but just one question: why always Emohua? And once again, I'm not there to demarcate. As a matter of fact, my ancestral tree has got some branches in Emohua, or Bakri to be precise. So I'm not here. I'm just asking a question. I'm just a very fair question. But to the next story, PDP chieftain Reno Omokri says President Bola Tinubu has performed well in his first week in office. Also, we brought you that news while we're reading the 6 o'clock bulletin this morning. PDP chieftain Reno Omokri says President Bola Tinubu has performed well in his first week in office. Listing President Tinubu's achievements, Mr. Omokri, who is a former presidential aide, said in a statement that fuel subsidy is gone, a single naira exchange rate is emerging, the NLC can be persuaded to see reason, and President Tinubu is meeting with heads of strategic agencies and giving them executive direction. He listed other one-week achievements of the president to include that the military is harmoniously subordinate to its administration. He said Nigeria has just posted a trade surplus and the stock market has received a boost, adding that there is relative peace in the country. However, said that PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar remains his preferred choice and would have been better than President Tinubu. A commercial break is coming shortly in a few seconds. But you see, this is how I believe we all should be thinking, irrespective of our political party affiliations, irrespective of our sentiments. What we should put in front is the interest of Nigeria, and that's how Reno has sounded I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel that's how he has sounded. But what do you make of his statement? He says, you know what, I'm still on the side of Atiku Abubakar. Yes, we might have a court case. I know he didn't say that, I'm adding that. But I can't just help but applaud the president for what he has done. A commercial break coming up shortly. When I come back, I'll take your phone call. Stay tuned. Up 0809-030-6416. Or you can go on Facebook. We're live. Go to the comment section and drop your comments and your contributions. Nigeria Info PH is the handle. You can also go on Twitter and drop your comments. We're active on Twitter, Nigeria Info PH, and on YouTube we're live as well, Nigeria Info PH. All right, but before I open the phone lines, I want to read the last story. Aircraft used for Nigeria Air was chartered flight from Ethiopian Airlines, and this is coming from the MD. All right then, and you can find this story on Channels TV website. So the interim managing director of Nigerian Air, Captain Dakpo Olumide, on Tuesday said the aircraft used to unveil the country's national carrier was a legitimate chartered flight from Ethiopian Airlines. He said the aircraft returned to Ethiopian Airlines after the unveiling. Olumide stated this before the Senate Committee on Aviation. The committee members expressed its misgivings towards the unveiling of the national carrier during a meeting with Olumide, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation, Emmanuel Meribole, as well as heads of aviation agencies. At the meeting, the chairman of the Senate Aviation Committee, Senator Biodun Olujimi, wondered why the immediate past Minister of Aviation, Adi Sirika, hurriedly unveiled the national carrier on the last day of Buhari's administration. I don't know. I feel like I have to wait for a response from the previous administration. I heard, one of the former president's aides, has come out to respond to that, and he's saying it's not a scam. But from the reports that from what the interim managing director said, my goodness, how low can we go? That's the question. It reminds me of a song, though. That's for Cool FM, by the way. but really, how low can we go? How low? If this is really true, wow, how low can we go? So we go to Ethiopia. We travel all the way to Ethiopia, sit down in a room, have meetings with officials and tell them, we would like you to just come and play, a fast one on the Nigerian people. Just, cover your Ethiopian Airlines brand on your airplane with Nigerian Air, and then just fly. Just let people see it. Fly to Nigeria. People will shout. People will clap. And then you can take your flight back. And we'll pay you handsomely. That's how I understand it, by the way. But what do I know? 29 minutes can pass the hour of 3. It's time for me to open the phone lines. Any of the headlines that has piqued your interest, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that headline. The number to call, or you can call either of the numbers, 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. Once again, you can use WhatsApp 0809-030. Go to the comment section, drop your comments, and I will read them. Or on Twitter, we're active, Nigerian for PH as well. Drop your comment, I'll read them. All right, I've got Robin from HA. Robin, let's hear what Robin has got to say this afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, Robin.
Canada.
Yeah, what are your thoughts now, please?
Yeah, good afternoon. I want to react on the response of the former governor, Nyesom Wike, saying that he's not afraid of EFCC.
Oh, yeah, he said that.
Okay, good and fine. I'm going to say what I've said before. If I have the opportunity 1 million times, I will still repeat myself. And that is what Governor Nyesom Wike, the former governor, should collaborate with the former governor before him, and let them liaise with the former governor, Dr. Peter Odili, who kept us in this quagmire, that went to court to get an injunction asking that the EFCC should not investigate him. So how can he now, riding on that toga, to begin to boast boisterously that he's not afraid of EFCC? EFCC will come, he will show the flyover. Does it mean that if you build flyover, if you build this, build that you cannot be asked questions?
No. I think, Robin, you're getting it wrong. I don't think the former governor said he cannot be asked a question. He's saying he's got nothing to hide. That when they come, he'll show them the books. And, I mean, flyover is on the books. That's what he's trying to say.
That is it now. I have you. My response is that they should first collaborate to go and vacate that court perpetual injunction.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying now.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They should go and vacate it. When they vacate it, good. If there's questions to be asked or to be answered, they can answer those questions.
All right, then.
You understand?
I understand you, Robin.
My view. So that those who spend money, those of them that have charge of River State money, we should have right to ask them questions.
All right, then. All right, thank you, Robin.
Through the legitimate agencies that we provided.
All right, thank you, Robin. I've got Obed from Ada Judge. Obed, what are your thoughts?
Yes, Canada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. What are your thoughts?
Yes, Canada, on the issue of former governor not afraid of EFCC, I think the former governor is being economic with truth. Because we have heard EFCC when setting a 13 billion naira was withdrawn by the counter. EFCC tried to invite the current governor now, but the former governor.
No. But you can't invite the. I mean, you can't. How do I put it now? You can't invite the current governor. Back then, he had a different position. You couldn't have invited him.
Must go to equity, must go to with clean hands.
But Obed, I was going to.
Your hands were clean. Why then do you prevent the EFCC from interrogating the current governor right now?
That's what I want to try. Would you let me tell you what I want to tell you? Obed, now, there's a legal process, and I'm not holding brief for anybody, but you already know. You and I have had this conversation over the years. You know this already. There is, a judgment, should I call it that has said, a perpetual injunction that says you cannot. So maybe until you, and I think the former governor said it a couple of times, until you've been able to dispense with that judgment, then you because it would be illegal, trying to interrogate me when you've not vacated that judgment.
Canada, we are still saying the same thing.
Okay.
If there is an injunction and the governor's hands are clean, according to what he said, you understand? He doesn't have anything. Why then will you prevent? You understand? It's still within your power.
All right.
To open your book for EFCC.
Okay.
So does the injunction prevent you as individual if you want to do it? That's what I want to ask.
Okay.
First of all, at least there is need for us to consider morality. So, but let me talk to EFCC. I think it's high time EFCC to do something about River State. Because River State have been lacking accountability over the years due to the so-called perpetual injunction.
All right.
I think they should do the needful
to
see how to quash the perpetual injunction to bring these guys to book. power to know how their money is being expended.
All right then.
Not somebody showing up projects here and there without any budget of RAM over the years.
Okay.
So I think there is need for EFCC to quash that judgment. I must tell you, Canada.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ida from Nkoro.
Yeah, Canada.
You're welcome. Yeah, afternoon.
Canada, the governor does not say that EFCC does not have the right
former governor.
His hand is very clean.
Okay.
The governor worked for Rivers with Rivers money.
Former governor yet again.
How many flyovers in Rivers State? Which governor? Any governor should come out. Go Sakwemapo Road, Opopo Nkoro. Come to law. I don't know about there is entire state project everywhere.
Okay.
With EFCC, go and look for Governor Wike. Governor Wike is not afraid of any EFCC.
All right.
If he is afraid of them, they should come. You show them everything that he has done with Rivers money. Governor Wike, I'm backing you up with praise. No EFCC will come to you and arrest you because you do well for Rivers people. I love you, but God love you.
Ida, thank you very much. I've got Nimi from Elikaya. Nimi, good afternoon to you. What are your thoughts?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Nimi, welcome.
Right, so I'd like to speak on the headline of the Nigerian Air.
Oh, yeah.
The unveiling.
Yeah.
Quite disgraceful, actually.
Okay.
The level we've allowed ourselves to descend is it's really bad.
All right.
I mean, look at what the former minister and whatever MD, whatever, they'll come out and make all manner of claims and say all manner of things. But, I mean, we are human beings. We are all logical human beings. What does it take to have a national carrier?
That's what I wanted to ask you now, Nimi. Nimi, I wanted to ask you.
What does it take? I mean, we have Air Peace, we have Asman, we have all manner of things. What does it really take to just fix this thing?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I was going to say Akwa Ibom. Is it Akwa Ibom or Cross River? One of them. They've got their own state carrier. So I'm wondering why it's so big a thing, a bigger deal, to get a national carrier. I'm finding that very amusing right now.
And I'm thinking that maybe something they're not telling us about the whole thing.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because Nigeria is known as like one of the biggest secret societies in this world. And it's always a secret about everything. Because it just doesn't make sense if a state can have a carrier and then the nation itself is still playing politics. After promising for 8 years, the government comes in, leaves, and then has to do a shoddy, disgraceful unveiling. It's just sad.
They are taking this for granted. Can I say that? Thank you, Nimi. Thank you very much. I guess you didn't hear what the joke I was trying to give there. Good news from Port Harcourt. Welcome.
I greet you, my brother, man.
All right, let's talk.
Yes, let me continue with the other issue of the government of River State, EFCC, and all that.
The former governors, not the government. Former
governor, of course, former head of state of River State. Number one, let it be known to Nigerians and River people that our money was highly used anyhow under Governor Wike. Good
news. You can't back up that statement right now. I mean, you can't back up that statement because if I
will tell you now. Okay. Can you listen to me now?
Okay, good news.
Listen to me. We are discussing.
Okay.
You said he did 12 flyovers, and we don't have a particular price. Sometimes he said 4 billion, sometimes he said 7 billion, sometimes he said 10 billion. Let me give him 10 billion.
7 billion. Good news. 7 billion actually. Yes. 7 billion, please.
No, let me give him 10 billion.
But I'm telling you the figure, 7 billion.
No, I'm coming now.
Okay.
We are discussing.
But I'm giving you facts and statistics. It was an average of 7 billion, and I'm giving it to you now. 7 billion.
But I agree with you. It's an average of 7 billion. Price of the flyover. Yeah. So that I'm saying quite mistake. Let me say 10 billion. That's my own. Now, 10 billion times 12 flyover is 120 billion. The 7.9 billion naira refunded from the federal government. Paris refund is 2 billion. The two put together is more than 120 billion. Where is the state allocation? Where is the IGR? Where is the federal allocation? Where is the ecological reform fund? Mind you, as he was leaving office, check the River State debt management. The River State under Governor Wike is going 200 something billion naira.
The governor has refuted that claim, or the former governor. Sorry about that.
It is in the just brush it, you will see it. But refuting. Of course, he will say he will refute it now. I'm telling you what is on. I'm not saying about it.
Okay.
200 something billion naira in debt, $150 million external debt. Why won't it when they are hiding everything from the people? We know because we have dug deep into it.
Okay.
And I'm telling you right now, okay, wages of teachers, wages like salaries reduced heavily under his watch. No official promotion. Employment was done in only universities because if they don't employ those persons, accreditation of the faculties will not be done. Now, in all the sectors, even in fire service areas, tell me where, even in the health sector, the primary health sectors are in moribunds, in shambles, and every day they will be on TV telling us that they did this forever. My brother.
All right then. All right.
The same thing we are carrying for Nigeria.
Okay.
That our national carrier is not to be found. Buhari promised us that by May.
No. Good news. One headline. You've used your one headline. Thank you very much. I've got Hector. Oh, I've lost connection with Hector. So I'm just going to go to WhatsApp now. A couple of messages. This one says, why will he be afraid when he has succeeded in planting someone who must protect, and having succeeded in buying the consciences of the... I can't read the rest, Alex. Thank you very much. And this one says, Reno, the diaspora PDP chieftain, rating the performance of the president. Is it not too early to do that? He is only looking for political relevance in this current administration, Obina. But Obina, I mean, he pointed it out. He said 1 week in office, and the president has done well. He said so. Okay. So, Kalada, you can see how corrupt your country, Nigeria, is, and people like them that are clapping hands for them. Nigeria. The girl sent me the water story. I'll look into it. I'll do my investigations. Thank you. This one says, good afternoon, Immaculate texting from Abba. I cannot... Okay, you say you cannot hear very clearly from Abba. I'll work on it as well. Sorry about that. The perpetual injunction no longer has a force of law going by recent Federal High Court judgment in Attorney General of Anambra State versus EFCC. I sought that case, and I've been willing to talk to the EFCC about it. But you went ahead to say, even though the Federal High Court is a court of coordinate jurisdiction, the judge stated that the EFCC has constitutional powers to investigate any act of economic and financial crime in any part of the country. The judge also stressed that neither the authorities of a state's House of Assembly nor Auditor General of a state preclude the Commission from performing its mandate as contained in the Constitution. So EFCC can pick any current or former revested official except those with immunity. This is the position of the law now. But you see, Flat Earth from Port Harcourt, you cannot use a high court judgment against another high court judgment. That's where the problem is. Anthony is calling from Port Harcourt. Let's listen to Anthony. Anthony, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Okay. I am actually of the opinion that Reno Omokri does not have the moral, would I say, justification to come and tell us if Tinubu has done well or not. We can't be in the U.S. Yeah, of course, we know Reno very well. We know what he did. Even before the 2023 election, we heard what he said about Obi. During the campaign, we heard what he said about Atiku. So now you can't stay in the U.S. You are not feeling what we are feeling. You are not buying fuel for 511 naira. Very comfortable. Then with all the killings in this past 1 week, you are telling us what is happening in Nigeria, who is trying and who is not trying. I don't think that's right.
But I mean, whether he's in diaspora or not, he has a right to an opinion. I don't know if you agree with that. And he's saying from his opinion standpoint, the president has done well.
Yes, that is his opinion. And from my own opinion, I believe a large population of Nigerians, we believe he doesn't have the moral justification to tell us that.
Okay, all right then, if you say so. All right, thank you very much, Anthony. So you think the president hasn't done well?
Yes, to some extent he hasn't done well.
But to some extent he has done well, yeah?
I wouldn't want to condemn him now. He's just starting. But
So
for now, he hasn't really done well. The sufferings on the people are much.
Okay. All right. But you just sounded like Reno. You've just accepted that to an extent. He has done well. That's what your statement sounded like. But thank you, Show.
Yeah. Former Governor Wike says he's not afraid of EFCC. I'd be pretty glad if he's not afraid. Remember, somebody tried to tell you or tell us that when the former governor or the governor now was to be arrested by EFCC.
I think investigated, actually.
The former governor prevented that. Now, we are all aware, or I am aware, if I say we, you will throw me off, that there is a case or an allegation of 114 billion of Rivers money that was cashed at the counter in different banks. An organization has gone to court to compel EFCC to investigate the former governor. That's why I say I'd be glad if he's not afraid.
Okay.
A lot of Rivers money, our money, had been messed up during his time.
Can you prove that? Can you prove that? I'm going to ask that question. I'm mandated to ask that question. Can you prove? That it's been messed up?
With the overhead bridge,
okay.
The one we call flyovers. Somebody said the 10 billion. You said no, 7. Check your records. Some of them, if not all of the flyovers, were at 9 billion naira.
No. See, Jude, I think I talked. No. I talked about it some 3-4 weeks ago. So I have my statistics. So now the places where you think it was more than 7 billion naira, there was the dualization of those roads surrounding the flyovers. For instance, Jare Junction.
Let's leave that one.
Okay, all right.
You remember, I made an allegation that all the jobs, all the constructions he did not pass through what they call the procurement process.
Okay, there's the argument. Yeah.
He, as a governor, used the House of Assembly, amended that to suit or to give him a conduit pipe to siphon our money. But there's an international standard.
Jude,
before he became the governor. Procurement process procedure.
Jude.
Why did he mess it up with the House of Assembly and now change? He has to pay upfront.
All right.
Or pay a contractor 100% before the job is done.
All right.
And one contractor, Jesus Beja.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jude.
Be ready for years.
You can't say siphon. I keep telling you. See, you can have these arguments, yeah, and I'm not stopping you. But there's certain words you cannot use. You can't say siphon because we don't have proof to that effect. And I will be the first person to report it if there is a proof to that effect. And that's what I'm saying. So you can say you used the money, you can argue the Procurement Act and all of that, but you can't say siphon. Come on, let's have a conversation now, please. Dakuku from HA, welcome on the show.
Yeah, this is Dakuku from Above HA, the social work HA. Yes. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Let me go to what the former governor said. Former governor of the state, Governor Wike, said that he's not afraid of EFCC or whatever. And he can say this because of he is now working with the Tinubu. If I thought he's not working with the Tinubu, I know he might even run out of this country. I'm not telling the truth. He can say that because Tinubu will cover him of what he did in this state.
But Dakuku. Now, the former aviation minister, I'm trying to remember his name now. Can you hear me? The Fani Kayode is still being investigated by the EFCC, and he campaigned for Tinubu. So is that your argument holding water now?
You can find which you are talking about the campaign for Tinubu. Listen, there's a difference. Tinubu, forget about campaigning and somebody has in mind. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
Tinubu, we know. Quite all right. he based on Wike and he used him to fight Amechi. Nothing will make him to allow EFCC to arrest Wike. But if I can land, they have to arrest him. A chair have died. No general hospital. No better clinic. How can we be happy for him? I am particular that could be the first one of a chair. That's why they give me. I'm not happy with him.
All right,
if I can confront EFCC, I confront to arrest him. I'm just telling you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling in. Interested. Let's go on Facebook now, read some messages. Cottrell Twobanimi Charles says, good afternoon. Isn't it shameful? Nigerian Airways was very popular during its time of independent operations. Nigerian Airways Limited, more commonly known as Nigeria Airways, was a Nigerian airline. The company was founded in 1958 after the dissolution of West African Airways Corporation. It held the name West African Airways Corporation Nigeria until 1971, when it was rebranded to the name it had until it ceased operations in 2003. The government of Nigeria owned the majority of the airline, 51%, until 1961, when it boosted its shareholding in the company to 100% and made it the country's flag carrier. The airline was managed by a number of foreign companies, including British Airways, KLM, and South African Airways. Now, what tipped the balance of administrative operations from 1958 to 2003? Isn't it possible to apply the model of the Ethiopian government that operated its airways independently till date? There is no better way to defend mediocrity. The Minister of Aviation should be arrested for deceit and fraud. You mean the former minister now? If the Ethiopian government survived this national carrier for over 50 years, what then was wrong with that government? All right, Cottrell, thank you very much for that wonderful piece. Sonia Moses, Wike about the EFCC. Why is Wike complaining? Why can't he allow the EFCC to do their job? He's not complaining. He says he's not afraid. That's not a complaint, is that? Let's see now. Thank God Ability Atuegbu says, evil men normally dodge thunder whenever there is a rainfall because they are afraid of thunder hitting them down. So Wike had repeatedly said that he's not afraid of EFCC probe after leaving office. A clear conscience fears no accusation. All right. And then you went ahead to say if EFCC officers are serious of fighting corruption, the Minister of Aviation should have been cooling off his head in the prison by now. All right, then I've got a call. I don't know, I can't find his name, but it's calling from Ogbogoro. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. What's your name?
Thank you. I want to be anonymous.
Oh, okay, that's why I can't find your name. Interesting. Mr. Anonymous, welcome then.
Okay, thank you. I want to react on the statement credited to the former governor.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. The energy the former governor is using to speak on the National Assembly, who to be the leaders of the National Assembly, speakers and the Senate. I expect the former governor to also use same energy to speak on the River State, the 10th River State speakership in River State.
How do you mean?
Yes. The governor is from Obiako, River Southeast.
The former governor, you mean?
The former governor, yes, River Southeast Senatorial District, and he's from Obiako. Now, Obiako is not the only LGA in that senatorial district. His parents has produced speakers before this time. That was during the time of Peter Hodney. And mind you, I've listened to some people arguing that since the present governor is from the River Rhine, there is no way the speaker will come from the River Rhine. But we should also remember that during Hodney administration, Hodney was from the upland, and the speaker, and she was also from the upland.
Was Hodney from the upland? It's argued that it is close to the river as well. It can be argued.
Now, Kalada, in every senatorial district, it's true that we have uplands and river lines. We have, even in the uplands, we do also have creeks, we also have rivers and lakes. But politically, geographically, we know what we meant by river line and
but I know, but I'm okay. Sorry. Where's Odili from?
Odili is from Indoni.
Are you saying in Indoni there is no water body? Is that what you're saying?
By the political division, division in River State, that place is attributed to the upland. and not riverine.
But like I said, it can be argued. It can be argued. Yeah.
Now, it can be argued. I also want us to know that during the election, before the election, during the campaign, there was this argument that we are not zoning based on senatorial districts and no longer upland and riverine. So I find it funny when I hear some people say, see, the governor is from riverine, the speaker should not come from riverine.
All right.
So it's funny. That is hypocrisy.
Okay.
That is hypocrisy. So what the former governor is pushing at the national level, I think he should also speak, with sincere.
But we already have a speaker. I mean, is this your argument?
Yes, we already have a speaker. But before we had the speaker, there has been agitation from the Okeka houses.
Oh,
that the Okeka man has not become speaker since 1999.
Okay.
So why denying them? Why the marginalization? What about the shades? They have not produced. Must it be Obiapo? That is the question.
All right.
So he will go to equity. Must go to equity place and
but can I make one more argument? Can I make one more argument? But they were voted by the lawmakers and there was no what's the rancor. There was no rancor.
This is what it is. How they play it. Yes, that is just a fulfill all righteousness now.
Okay.
It's just a fulfill all righteousness.
Okay.
On the surface, they make it look as if they voted their choice. But they were all influenced by their godfather.
Okay. All right.
We know the display.
All right, thank you very much. I've got to go now. I'm almost out of time. I've got Adi Live Osisi saying every corrupt political leader is always afraid of EFCC, but they will pretend to be medically ill. All right, thank you very much. Let's see now. That's the Ikechukwu Sterling. That's the highest fraud in the whole world. Nigerian has scam. Believe me, this is so irritating that this happened under the watch of Mr. Integrity. Baba Saveti Jose say about the aircraft. I think Nigeria, it's a big shame. You said, don't be surprised one day you will hear that Nigeria has I can read that as well. As for Wike about the Senate president, I think he's just looking for favor. He's just an applicant right now. All right. Also, Francis, thank you very much for your message. I've got let's see, Emmanuel Silvanus Okona Viobo. Which EFCC will go after Wike while Tinubu is president? If Atiku had won the presidency, Wike would never say this. Okay, thank you very much. That's for Facebook. Let's go to the WhatsApp portal and see what messages we have there. Riverine is the description for the Rivers Ijaw people of Rivers State. Ijuye. Like I said, you can argue. I think I've read this one. Cottrell. Okay, you sent in another one. You said Wike is looking like he will get away, with all the financial issues he committed or atrocities he committed against Rivers State. Most likely, all right. All of this you have said are allegations, so I can't read them. This one says, my name is David from Port Harcourt. Trust is earned and not forced on an individual or a nation. It beats me how that our citizens can collaborate with our nationals to fake an airplane for Nigeria. As if this is not enough, the so-called Nigeria Air was launched against a court standing order. I am yet to see and wonder what is going through the minds of many youths and children of this country regarding our future. It is so sad and unfortunate. Hi, Kalada. There is a saying, a clear conscience fears no accusation. Governor Wike should melembe. Ayo Mike, thank you very much. And it's been a while. People call radio stations and shout ignorantly. I don't like that word, please. It will be illegal for Wike or the present government to open its books to EFCC without vacating the court order. The government under Wike is owing only Access Bank 3.5 billion naira, no other bank. Chima Uzoma. All right. Wonderful. Good day, Nigeria. I don't have time. I read these other messages. The open season period. Do stay tuned. The business news is up next.
You are tuned in to